Hey guys, you see one more important document has been uploaded in the PIB website on 27th Jan, okay, 2026. The document is something related to the energy transition, global energy transition, and also the India's energy transition journey is discussed. Okay, what is the meaning of energy transition? You see, energy transition is gradually the world, including India, they are moving towards moving from conventional energy sources towards unconventional energy sources or renewable sources of energy. Okay, so the renewable sources are wind, solar, biomass, etc. You know very well. So this transition is very, very important because we want to reduce the carbon emissions, and we have the target. India also has the target of becoming the net zero carbon emitter by 2070. In that context, this topic becomes very, very important. Energy transition. You see, 2 to 3 years back in the GS3 paper, there was a question asked about the energy transition. Particularly, there was question about energy transition. Okay, that's why this topic becomes very, very important. And also, in the theme of infrastructure and infrastructure development, this area becomes very, very important. Okay? So, in that context, we will try and understand the paper. If you see the broad takeaways that were discussed in the paper, the natural gas pipelines exceed 25,400 kilometers, enabling near 100% coverage, geographical coverage of our country. Then ethanol blending reached 19.05% in the year 2024-25, approaching the 20% national target. Then Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, its coverage expanded to 10.41 crore households. Moreover, there is rising refill rates of LPG cylinders, which indicates that there is a sustained use of the LPG gas. Then India Energy Week 2026 was also conducted, which brought together all the global stakeholders with respect to energy security and transition issues. Okay, right. These are the broad takeaways. We will see the document. What is there in the document? You see, India Energy Imperative in a changing world. Okay, see, energy is fundamental to connectivity, social development, and human well-being. We know that. Okay, so apart from that, India is also one of the world's fastest growing economies and is the third largest consumer of crude oil, reflecting the continued importance of petroleum in mobility, logistics, and industrial activity. Okay. At the same time, India's energy demand is projected to grow faster than almost any other major economy to 2035, and the country is expected to account for over 23% of global incremental energy demand by 2050. Okay, which will be the highest for any country. Okay. You see, in order to this growing demand, India has focused on strengthening its energy systems through various things, including policy reforms, infrastructure expansion, and clean energy pathways. In June 2025, India achieved a milestone. What is that? Uh, in 50% of our cumulative installed energy infrastructure, if you see, 50% of it is now non-fossil fuel based. Okay, so more than 50% of our energy is now being generated from the non-fossil fuel sources. Means most of it is renewable energy. Okay, that is what the takeaway you have to see here. You see, this feat or this achievement is 5 years ahead of the 2030 target. Okay, that we have decided under nationally determined contribution to the Paris Agreement. Okay, so this was made possible by reforms across the hydrocarbon sector. Okay, then expansion of energy infrastructure and rapid growth of renewable energy. Okay, these things made this target possible or this achievement possible. Then, if you examine the area of hydrocarbon energy governance and the sectoral reforms, as India's energy demand continues to rise, the effectiveness of its energy transition depends not only on the expansion of infrastructure but also on the reforms in governance and regulatory framework. Okay, so India has undertaken a series of reforms to modernize energy governance and align with its evolving market conditions and transition requirements. Okay, so India, if you see the hydrocarbon sector, India's hydrocarbon sector spans the upstream, midstream, and downstream segments. So we are going to see the policy reforms in these three segments. Okay, right. First, if you see the upstream sector reforms, first one is Oil Field Regulation and Development Amendment Act of 2025, or it's simply called as ORDA Amendment Act 2025. This modernizes India's upstream regulatory framework by simplifying the procedures, enabling integrated energy development, and strengthening investor confidence. Okay, the reform aims to enhance domestic oil and gas production, improve energy security, and support a stable, transparent policy environment. So this is the very important amendment you have to remember. And another important initiative was Petroleum and Natural Gas Rules 2025 have been released. Okay. These rules provide a modern and a transparent regulatory framework for the exploration and production of oil and natural gas. Okay, so they are related to exploration and production of natural gas. Okay, oil and natural gas. Okay, then the hydrocarbon sector underwent reform with the enactment of ORDA Act and the notification of these rules. Uh, you see, under the hydrocarbon exploration licensing policy, there is a policy, hydrocarbon exploration licensing policy. Until now, 172 blocks covering more than 3.78 lakh square kilometers. That area was awarded, attracting committed investments up to about $4.36 billion into this area. Okay, and after that the exploration activity has really intensified through seismic surveys, drilling programs, and government funded okay, then we will see the reforms in midstream and downstream. Okay, you see, first one is unified pipeline tariff. This was introduced in 2023 under One Nation, One Grid, One Tariff initiative. The UPT was launched to address regional disparity in gas transportation costs. Okay. Then second one is strengthening energy security through infrastructure expansion. You see, alongside the government governance reforms, efforts have focused on expanding the energy infrastructure across the country to improve fuels supply chains, gas connectivity, and mobility systems. Okay, if you want to, uh, some details are there with respect to energy access and uh, some other things related to oil and gas. You see, uh, 10.35 crore families have been benefited from clean fuel, cooking fuel. 12.12 crore people have got benefit and from free LPG safety checks and etc. 90,000 plus fuel retail outlets have been modernized. 25,000 plus gas pipeline network is plus kilometers gas pipeline network is now operational, etc. So these type of major reforms have been taken up in the oil and gas sector. Then if you see fuel and gas infrastructure of the country, the nationwide fuel retail network expanded from about 52,000 outlets in 2014 to over 1 lakh by 2025, improving the last mile fuel availability across urban. Then cleaner fuel infrastructure witnessed a rapid growth, with the CNG stations now increasing from about 968 to over 8,477, and PNG household connections rising from 25 lakh to over 1.59 crore, supplying cleaner mobility and housing energy. Okay. Then after that, under the vision of One Nation, One Gas Grid, the natural gas pipeline network expanded to over 25,400 kilometers with an additional 10,000 plus kilometers under construction. Okay. which is enabling the pan-India transportation of gas. Okay. Then the integrated gas grid supported 100% city gas distribution, geographical coverage, strengthening energy security and transition towards gas-based economy. Then if you see the petroleum marketing and electric mobility infrastructure, uh, the petroleum marketing infrastructure was strengthened with over 90,000 retail outlets, which are enabled with the digital payment facilities, supported by more than 2.71 lakh POS terminals, point of sale terminals. Then over 3,200 fuel vouchers, they were commissioned to expand door-to-door fuel delivery, particularly in remote and underserved areas. Then apart from that, the electric mobility infrastructure was also enhanced or expanded with 8,932 electric vehicle EV charging stations installed at retail outlets under FAME 2 scheme. Okay, FAME 2 or FAME scheme phase 2, along with over 18,500 additional charging stations set up by OMCs, oil marketing companies. Then if you see logistics and wayside amenities, over 5,000 Apnaghar truckers wayside amenities were established to improve roadside safety, rest facilities, etc. Then 1,064 integrated energy stations, they were commissioned as of 1st November 2025, offering conventional fuels alongside alternative energy options. Okay. Then if you examine the most important theme of this discussion, that is clean energy transition and low carbon pathways. Okay, you see, with energy across access and infrastructure expansion, they providing physical foundation for India's energy system. The focus has increasingly now shifted towards reducing the carbon intensity. Okay, carbon intensity, um, while at the same time we are making sure that the increasing demand is also met. Okay, you see, the clean energy transition and the low carbon pathways, they are therefore central to balancing energy security, economic growth and climate objectives. You see, these lines you can directly pick and write in the mains examination. Okay, they are very important lines like these when you are writing the mains exam. Okay. Right. You see, if you go further, India is advancing its clean energy transition through a diversified approach, not single approach. Various things India is trying. Okay, that combines renewable energy expansion with alternative and low carbon fuels. Okay, one of the important components of this is ethanol blending program. So you know very well, we have taken up it prestigiously. So this program resulted in foreign exchange savings of about 1.59 lakh crore rupees, then reduction of about 813 lakh metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions, and substitution of 270 lakh metric tons of crude oil since 2014, reflecting the role of biofuels in reducing the import dependence and the release of emissions. Then apart from that, the biofuels also form an important bridge between conventional fuels and the cleaner energy systems. You see, allowing emission reductions without large scale changes to existing vehicle and fuel infrastructure. In that, the biofuels play a very important role. Okay, you see, alongside biofuels, India is also scaling up initiatives in green hydrogen, sustainable fuels, and other emerging low carbon technologies. They are supported by rapid growth in renewable energy capacity and grid modernization. Okay, all these efforts, they will make it easy the our target, that is India achieving net zero carbon emission by 2070. Okay, then apart from that, there is a policy, national policy on biofuels 2018, and it was amended in 2022, advancing the target of 20% ethanol blending in petrol from 2030 to 25-26 itself. We have seen it in the highlights also. You see, under the ethanol blended petrol program, average ethanol blending reached 19.05%, as on 31st July 25 itself, with the 19.93% achieved in July 2025. Okay, which is indicating a steady progress towards the 20% target. Okay. You see further, the energy transition outcomes also depend on the household adoption of cleaner fuels. Okay, particularly with respect to cooking and heating. In if you see in cooking, where the traditional fuel has the also has that health and environmental implication. Okay, right. So to address that, the access to clean cooking energy has been significantly expanded under the PMUY, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, with the number of beneficiaries increasing up to 10.41 crore by January 2026. And to achieve saturation of this LPG coverage, the government has approved the release of 25 lakh additional LPG connections during the uh, you know uh, during the financial year of 25-26. Okay. Then this was done by simplifying the eligibility process through a single deprivation declaration. Okay. This was made possible. Right. Apart from that, ensuring affordability is critical for sustained adoption of clean cooking fuel beyond initial access. So, not just giving connection, but we also make sure that people are refilling, coming for refillings. So, affordability is the critical thing. To address that issue, through a targeted subsidy of 300 rupees per cylinder, 14.2 kg cylinder, up to 9 cylinders or 9 refills in a financial year, uh, this benefit has been given for the PMUY users. As a result, LPG usage has shown a sustained increase, with average per capita consumption rising from about 3 cylinders in 2019-20 to 4.85 refills per annum during the current financial year 25-26. Okay, which indicates deeper adoption of clean cooking fuel, especially in the rural areas. Okay, then the Indian Oil Corporation Limited, it became the first Indian company to receive international sustainability and carbon certification. Okay, carbon certification, carbon offsetting and reduction scheme for international aviation certification for SAF, sustainable aviation fuel production at its Panipat refinery. Okay, then if you see the global India's global energy leadership and the future commitment, um, you see the India's commitment towards this is non-negotiable. Okay, India is committed. Okay, in that effort only India has you know participated in Global Biofuel Alliance (GBA) and the G20 Energy Transitions Working Group. India's participation in this reflects its emphasis on practical and inclusive approaches to energy transition. Okay. In addition to that, India, you know, conducts this India Energy Week. Okay, and it serves as an international platform for dialogue among the governments, industry, financial institutions, and the technology providers. Okay, you see this event that is conducted by India, it supports structured knowledge exchange platforms on energy markets, investment, clean energy technologies, transition pathways, and complementing ongoing multi international and multilateral. Okay. If you see further details about the India Energy Week, you see India Energy Week 2026 is underway in Goa, or was underway in Goa from 27 to 30 January 2026. It was hosted by Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, and this platform highlights India's expanding role in shaping global energy conversations, particularly from the perspective of emerging and developing economies. Okay. You see, this event has seen the participants from over 120 countries and more than 6,500 conference delegates at a critical moment for global energy markets, geopolitics, and climate action. Okay, you see, this particular initiative was launched in 2023. Okay, Since then it has evolved as a platform for international dialogue across the global energy. Okay, you see this present conference, the IEW 2026. This brings together policy level discussions and implementation focused exchanges through its strategic and technical tracks. Okay? So this is something you have to know about the India energy. You see all this information that is there in the document, the initiatives we have taken uh, as part of our energy transition, and also our role in making it a reality, the global energy transition. All these things will become very, very important from the point of view of examination. So you make sure that you are taking all the valuable information from this document and from discussion. Okay? Thank you. See you next time.